Tiffany, good to see you.
You too.
How are you?
Pretty good.
Your dad, David Bacon.
Ahoy, Marty.
It's so good to see you, David. It's
Oh,
been a
it's
while,
good to be
man.
here. It has been. It has been. We haven't jabbered with each other in some time.
Well, we get to jabber away here today, that is for sure. And all our folks at Freeman Adventures are excited about the upcoming Hall Show. In fact, what is it, this Thursday?
This Thursday.
Unbelievable. That's crept up on us fast.
It snuck up on real quick.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about you, yourself, and then we'll get into your business and we'll get into the Hall Show. But how did you get into the fishing game? Something tells me that somebody to your right there may have had something to do with all of that.
Should I really tell him what happened?
I think you should.
Absolutely. Nice and loud, too.
Well, let's see. I was 14 years old, kind of on the rebellious side.
Uh-oh.
Snuck out to go partying with my friends.
Uh-oh.
And when I came back, not yet.
Yeah.
When I came back, my dad was sitting on my bed, stomping his feet, waiting for me to come through the window. And he just looked at me and said,
You're grounded for life. And here she is.
still grounded. Don't sneak out.
Well, that is something I think that our society is sorely lacking of, some good parental. My mom said to me when my firstborn was born, Philip, and she said, remember, you're not his damn friend, you're his parent. Mm-hmm. And you want to be friends with your kids, of course. Obviously, you have that kind of relationship. But first, you got to be a parent.
First and
Exactly.
foremost,
Yeah.
you got to bring them up the right way.
Yep.
And that includes teaching them to fish at a very young age.
Absolutely, right?
And somewhere, I haven't seen it in a while, but somewhere I have a picture of Tiffany sitting on my arm as just a little thing. And I've got a fishing pole here, and there's a fish on it. And she's sitting on my arm with both hands turning the handle on the reel.
That is awesome. Awesome. I've got that same photo with Philip and Patrick, those same kind of things.
Yeah.
And to be honest with you, I think fishing probably brings my kids and I together more than just about anything,
Yeah.
That and Notre Dame football, we're nuts about that. But, if I say to my kids, come on over, let's sit on the couch and talk for 6 hours, they're like, are you drinking again, Dad? Are you kidding? But if I say, let's jump on the half-day boat, and we go out and we talk for 6 hours and we catch some fish and we enjoy the great outdoors, it's such a healthy endeavor.
Well, you still get the 6 hours of talking, but
Yep.
it's an adventure.
Yes.
And we got to have those.
We have to have those. It feeds your soul, doesn't it, David?
It does.
Yeah.
It does.
So, Tiffany, you want to start with the Hall Show first? Or
Sure.
you want to start with what your business is? Want to start with the Hall Show?
Let's do
'Cause
the Hall Show
it's
first.
right around the corner. You're in charge of a huge endeavor at the Hall Show. Tell us about it.
I'm really happy to be doing this. We've got a huge booth that's going to have about 7 or 8 seminar speakers going back to back. Each of them is about 45 minutes to an hour long. And they're teaching people how to wrap rods. Different styles. We've got different techniques on there. So if somebody really wants to learn, they should stop by there and watch the seminars. They can ask questions, learn, the little tricks and stuff with it. On top of that, we also have a huge display of all sorts of different rod wrapping equipment, tools, and everything that you need to use for rod wrapping.
It honestly sounds like with all the stuff you can do at the Hall Show, you could spend an entire day at this booth.
Or go 4 days and learn different things each day.
Yeah. So it's for people who are beginners, intermediates, and probably even advanced, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. And then we've got giveaways, and then each day we have a custom rod giveaway. So if somebody goes in, we'll put their email address on there. We pull it about 5 o'clock-ish. Each day's different, but there's a schedule there. Pull out a name, and they get to walk home with a custom-made rod.
God, that is great. For somebody who's not artistically inclined, in fact, I've already managed to lose our microphones for today's, not only not artistically inclined, I'm loopy all around. Can I go there and yeah, I know it's exactly the same. Can I, a person who's not artistically inclined, learn how to wrap a rod?
Oh, absolutely.
Really?
Absolutely. We've got 5-year-olds that are learning to wrap rods.
That's great that you picked that age to identify with me. Yes, but maybe a little
but
too
we
advanced.
love
Now, wrapping a rod can go anywhere in a long range here. I mean, for example, we've been out on the boat and somebody's eye comes off and they don't have another rod. And if I've got one, I'll let them use mine. But I've been known to just tear off a piece of monofilament and just tight wrap an eye on there that'll get them through the rest of the day. And is that rod wrapping? Well,
Kind of.
yeah.
Yeah.
Is it artistic rod wrapping? Oh, no.
No, but man, talk about
It's getting through a moment. But
Yes.
the thing is, rod wrapping and what someone can learn here goes from that basic, let's go get through the moment thing, all the way up to the most artistic things in the world, such as weaving complex designs of your own design. And that entire range is what's going to be taught. So yes, somebody, an absolute beginner, can come learn how to do these things. But what we've found in going to many of the shows with rod wrapping things and rods is that there's a surprising number of people that wrap rods. But their skill levels, frequently they just wrap well enough to make a rod and go fishing with, or fix their friends, or refurbish one in the garage. Because all of us in our garage, we have this boneyard of rods in our garage or someplace, right? And so just skills to build, but maybe just refurbish or repair rods. So anyone who is already a rod wrapper, she has some of her seminar speakers, and herself included, she's doing seminars who are some of the best, and have competed even internationally, as Tiffany has.
wow.
And so whatever skill level someone is at, they can come in and attend some seminars and actually talk to the people between seminars and really advance their skill set.
That sounds magnificent. You talked about it cracks me up. Talked about taking the mono and repairing a rod on a fishing trip. I remember as a kid I was a deckhand or a pinhead, one of the two, I can't remember.
We all started as a pinhead.
On the Redondo Special, and Mike Conklin, Pat Conklin's brother, those guys have been in this business for many, many years. He had a rod blank, and he was like showing it to me. He goes, "Look at this really cool rod blank." Back in those days, probably a Saber, if I had
Probably.
Saber. And he said, "I said, oh, it's really cool. When are you going to fish it?" And he said, "I'm going to fish it in about an hour." And he took electrical tape, put the guides on, got a reel seat somehow, and he was catching calico bass full speed. And
Yeah.
and I marveled at that. David.
Yeah.
So the fact that you can just take this rod blank and transform it, as you say, into something that has utilitarian value, but could be a work of art at the very same time, and you're going to be able to learn that at the hall shows with Tiffany. I think you're right about you could spend the whole week at your booth.
Oh yeah.
And do you welcome that? You want people hanging out with you that long?
Yeah, they can hang out.
As long as they're not like me?
Well, we know you lose things. But
Yes, no
And
kidding.
we know that you forget what things that you're
my
supposed
God.
to
I
do.
normally have a stellar memory and don't do that, but I've been fighting this crazy cold, so excuses, all right? Phony excuses.
Besides the skill sets,
Yeah.
there is, she mentioned displaying a lot of components, okay? We're talking about like 4 big tables spread out with all these things, all the componentry from the rod blanks, to the butt caps, to the rear grips and reel seats and foregrips and winding chucks and
Guides.
any types of guide you could
Tips.
find.
Yeah.
And tips and just everything that you might need, and people can see what kind of variety is out there possible.
Yes.
Because there's all different styles.
Yeah.
Not one rod wrapper has the same style as the next. So having this display of different types of reel seats, different types of guides. You've got freshwater, you've got saltwater, you've got deep sea fishing, you've got all sorts of different types. To be able to look at each of the colors, each of the designs will really give you, what your rod would look like. Instead of, oh, I want a CAH. Okay, which kind? There's like a couple of different kinds. There's a couple of different colors. I want a trigger reel seat. Well, there's like 50,000 different types of trigger reel seats. Do you want an aluminum? Do you want graphite? And then each of those have different styles. So to have it there where they can go and really take a look at it and decipher which one they'd want to build their own rod, or to have somebody build the rod for them, they can really get more of a mental picture of what their rod will look like, instead of this surprise, like, well, that's not really what I was thinking of, but,
Yeah.
And it's not just the how to build the rod and what components to use, but these seminar speakers, and maybe Tiffany, chief among them, is able to talk to you about not only matching your choice of rod and componentry to what kind of fishing you're going to go do today, but also match all of that to your own body, so that you don't destroy your lower back because you're working with the wrong rod, or just make your hands and forearms tired. There are ways to match all of this to your own body measurements.
David,
like from your hand to your elbow, for where that placement should be of the rod, of the reel, things like that people can learn. That stuff that is not just the kind of skill that people look at and admire, but it's just total utilitarian.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. David, I mean, I don't think most people even contemplate these kinds of things. This is really cool. And you're going to go into that so that the rod and the reel work better with you, and you don't end up limping off the boat at the end of the trip, right? After a 100-pound bluefin.
I've done that before.
It's not just building a custom rod. It's building a custom rod that is matched to you.
Yes.
That's the magic.
And you're talking both in terms of the style as well as the utilitarian value.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that is great.
And that's what becomes and makes the true custom rod, is it's customized to each person's body type, and not something you pull off the rack. You go fishing, and then all of a sudden you've got kinks in your back. You're not having a good time by the end of the day because your muscles are worn out, not from fishing, but from the position of that rod. So it prolongs how long you can actually fish it.
You too.
That means you catch more fish.
Yep.
Right.
That's the part I like.
And enjoy it more, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
You guys kind of anticipated a question I had for you, but I'm going to ask it anyway, and you can reiterate some of the things that you're talking about. I was going to say, why a custom rod? Why not just buy a factory wrapped rod? Walk in, say, that looks good, I'll take that. And you've pretty much answered that, right? Already now. You've made a great case for why a custom rod is better.
Yeah. And then if you're one who wants to learn more about building custom rods, besides the how to do it and how to match it to a person, there's also a lot that can be learned about things like the blanks themselves.
Yes.
Which blank works in different application. What does the length of it mean to the combination of effects on your body and benefits to your fishing, like castability and things like that. But it's also the compositions of the rods themselves. These are the people that work deeply with that stuff and can talk to everyone about the different benefits of the different materials, from fiberglass to the most modern materials and the combinations thereof, and what it means when you combine this material with that material. What does it do for you? What does it make it harder to do, easier to do?
Yeah.
Where is that backbone? And what does a backbone really look like? For example, a backbone isn't just a straight line along a rod. We find the backbone, and it's a weight thing, so it ends up on the bottom. But it's actually not a straight line. So what you're actually determining when you work with the backbone and finding it is the average of the weighting along the entire end of the rod. And it can't be a straight line because the mandrel, which they wrap around and then remove, is a long, cylindrical, but tapered piece, and you're not going to have just one single piece of material that perfectly wraps around that and is a uniform line along there. And then depending on how you're building that blank, you'll add material here and there in order to give it certain strength in different places. And it's different whether you're working with a parabolic rod or a fast taper rod or anything like that. So these are some of the finer, detailed things that people can learn by coming to the seminars. And as she said, she's got a number of seminar speakers, and they're going to be taking turns, and they're going to be bringing some of their rods. So people that just want to see some custom rods can come and buy some from them too.
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Oh, great.
Each of the rod builders are bringing in, their own custom rods.
Nice.
There's going to be a full display of about, I don't know how many rods are going to be there, but they a good chunk that they can come and take a look at it.
Yeah.
If they want to buy it right on the spot, they can buy it right there as well.
And components, can they purchase components from you guys also?
Okay. Now we're going to transition into another part of our discussion here today, because also there we are going to have a PC or phones, and they will be able to go to her new e-commerce website.
Wow,
and
great.
Order any and all of that's on there, and order it, and it'll be there for them in just a matter of days. And that comes back to what we've been working real hard on for the entire last year, because it is a monster project. And that is an e-commerce website that Tiffany and our marketing web developer partner have been putting together. And that is everything you need to build rods. From the big rod wrapping equipment that turns it, to the dryers, to the blanks, to all the components, everything someone might need, everything they'll see at that show, they can order from Tiffany. And here's the magic of the website. We're making this so that they will find the lowest prices I think they'll be able to find anywhere.
Oh, great.
And that is our driving goal. We're not particularly greedy people. And so we are making this so that our community, the rod wrappers, can get what they need at just rock bottom prices.
What is the web address?
It's vaguerods.net.
You want to spell that for everybody?
VAGUE, like the word vague.
Like a vague idea.
VAGUERODS.net.
Perfect.
And we went with .net because we use nets in fishing.
Oh, there you go. I like that. The easy mnemonic device there, right?
We like that.
That is awesome. So, and also, do I have this right? You're going to offer online classes on how to wrap rods?
I've been doing online classes for a couple years now.
Oh, at least.
Yeah, and it's basically they're your basic college style online classes. Started out doing it through the community colleges, and then kind of ventured out into my own. And so on the website, they can go on there and sign up for a beginner class, intermediate class, private classes, and whatnot, advanced classes. And I pretty much take them step by step the whole way on how to build a rod, from putting your components on, your grips, making your own stuff, making your grips, anything and everything that has to do with rod building. I take them step by step away. And they're not one-day classes like a lot of the manufacturers do one-day classes. These are actually 6-week courses.
Oh, wow.
So it's like an hour and a half each of the days, and it just pretty much breaks up everything on functionality of the rods. They really get tuned on what it is that they're building, how it is they're building, the functionality, power, everything that you need to know about rod building. It's not like, here's your blank, here's your guides, let's put this together. No, they're going to know what each thing does, so that after, if they want to build another rod, they know exactly what they need to do, and they know exactly what they need to buy, and not be like, okay, well, I was taught this, but there's a reason for this, and they don't know that reason.
Right.
And with fishing, you need to know, am I doing a fast action tip? Why is it fast action? You know, all the little details that get skipped that are important in rod building, they're going to know. They're going to learn the terminology of everything. So it's more than just a quick one-day class. It's actually a course to teach you many different things.
That is fantastic. So you go to the Hall show, say from January 30th to February 2nd, and then your continuing education takes place on your website.
Go back on,
That's great.
And the website, as she said, she's offering beginner level, intermediate level, and advanced level, and each one of those is like 6 weeks, 6 different segments. So that's a lot of segments if you know how to do math.
Yeah.
Okay. And so one of the things we're working on is making sure that we have each of those segments captured so that people can then sign up for download and view on demand on their own schedule.
Yeah.
Any and all of those segments.
How much do you think a 6-week course class would cost?
Several $100s, I would guess, right?
$45.
What?
I'm not in this to become rich.
Yeah.
I'm in this to help people learn how to build rods.
Well, nobody in the fishing business is in it to get rich,
No.
right? You know how to make a small fortune in the fishing business, right? Start with a large fortune. Yeah, right.
Right.
$45.
$45.
And that's important, and it works because realistically, you know, we're not trying to do like the big guys that charge those several $100 fees. She's trying to help people like this. But it's also, since Tiffany can provide them with everything they need at rock bottom prices that they won't find anywhere, they will naturally choose to order those from her. And so that just becomes all part of it too. So it works for them, it works for Tiffany, it just works.
Yeah, it sounds fantastic. I am more excited about the Hall show now. And this is one booth in a great show. But this one booth, as I say, could literally take up your entire time. If you're serious about or you've ever thought about rod building, you've got to go by and hassle you a little bit. Is there one-on-one interaction at the booth also? I mean, we've talked seminars, but can a guy
They can walk
pick
right
off some?
up to us
Yeah.
because there's several of us, and each of us are having, you know, our seminar time, the segment, but the rest of us will still be on the side where they can come right up to us and ask questions, pick our brains, you know, whatever they want to do. It's not that you can only talk to them when they're on the seminar stage. You can talk to us whenever. You just come up to the booth.
Yeah, perfect.
And the booth would be pretty easy to find. It's like 40 by 40.
Oh, it's a big booth.
And it has a big stage. So
Yeah.
the seminars are on stage, so you can't miss it.
Yeah. Do you know where it's going to be exactly? Or like you say?
Not yet.
Not yet. You know how these shows goes. We'll find out where the stage is when we go check in. Then you got to run around the whole entire place trying to figure out where you're supposed to be.
Yeah, I know. Where you're going to set up and everything, right? So that is going to start on Thursday. How exciting. Anything else that we need to talk about? You guys have been fantastic. Talk about really, I don't think anybody's ever answered the question as beautifully as the two of you have about why a custom rod. You answered that in so many different ways on so many different levels that all make sense.
Well, yes. But there are more than those reasons for wanting a custom rod.
Oh, yeah.
For example, Tiffany has long tried in earnest to build the ugliest rod in the world.
Oh, like the Christmas kind of...
This has
No,
been
beyond
Sure.
that.
This has been a long-standing goal of hers, and she has made many attempts. And interestingly, when she builds one, they seem to sell immediately.
People don't find them ugly, huh?
No!
No, what they find is that that rod on the rack and on the side of the boat, it's obvious which one theirs is.
Oh, yeah,
Right?
exactly. It
And
sticks
nobody's
out like
gonna-
a sore thumb,
Nobody's
right?
going to walk off that boat with it, you know? And that's one of the reasons why people like to have
That's true.
custom rods.
That's
so that
true.
they are just blatantly obvious. Now, some people, I'll make you an example. One of the weaves that she does, it's time consuming, but she does it wonderfully, is a dream catcher. She actually won an international award with this. Well, I know somebody who has a boat of their own named Dreamweaver. Dreamcatcher. I'm sorry.
I'm like, what?
Dreamcatcher. Right. No. Dreamcatcher. Pull over. Okay.
Maybe he lost the microphone.
Maybe so. So Dreamcatcher. She makes this beautiful, weaves it. It's not a decal. It's all with thread work.
Yeah.
You know, like this incredible loom with hundreds of threads, sometimes thousands, and it's like weaving a rug, you know, and it's detailed, right? And it's beautiful. And so this gentleman said, I need a full set for my boat. You know, so people, especially like if you have a boat with a name that draws a visual, or if you have a company that has a logo, you might just want a set, a suite of rods that show that logo, or show your colors, or show your flag, or whatever you got going.
Yeah.
Basically, people will send me a picture of either their logo or a picture that they want woven into their rod or whatever, and I take that picture and create the rod with it.
Yes.
All thread work. It's not the picture being put on top of the blank. It's all thread work, so they can just send me whatever they want, and I'll put it on the rod.
All right, perfect. We had the unruly crew from the Amigo crashing our party here for a second, but they're great guys. I heard Mark out there and everybody else. You know, yeah, like, I mean, I'm nuts about Notre Dame football, so I could get that on my rod, right, if I wanted to. The leprechaun.
Absolutely.
I've
That
had
would be fun to do.
Yeah.
I've had people send me their football team that they love, like their emblem. I did a Vikings. I've done all sorts of different football teams, their helmets, even kids teams. Like they'll have me build a rod for like their coach.
Yeah.
High school coaches, YFL coaches, because they all fish too.
Yeah.
And so they'll send me like their emblem or something, and I'll whip it up for them.
That is great. You know, I mean, nothing could be a better gift than a personalized rod that you wrap for a loved one or a friend or a fellow angler. What a great gift that would be, right?
That is a gift of love. That is a gift from the heart. That is a deep gift.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it makes so much sense on all these different levels. Anything else, kids?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
The preparation.
Yeah.
In the mess.
In the mess. You generally don't just go, I'm going to build a custom rod, and you gather up a bunch of stuff and you put it together. There's a thought process, and you need to learn that too. Okay? And you know, I've talked about things like the feller's boat Dreamcatcher that she made a suite for, right? Well, anytime you're building a custom rod, you need to consider all the factors. What I want it to look like. How do I want it to act?
Yeah.
Is this going to be a deep yo-yo yellow?
Yellowtail.
Thank you, yellowtail rod, or am I casting swim baits for calico? What is this going to do? And that all it depends on it. But there is a major thought process of all of that stuff that needs to go on before you go buy all of this stuff.
Yeah.
Because it's going to change what you put together.
Right.
And so part of learning is learning what all you need to think about and consider.
Yeah.
Before you start picking it out.
Yeah.
Instead of going, oh, that one's pretty, I'll take it.
Yeah, exactly. The kind of stuff you do when you buy a factory wrapped rod. Pretty much, right? You just walk in, oh, that looks good.
Right,
Yeah.
right.
You don't consider all these other things that you've talked about.
And part of the process is if someone is going to make a custom rod for themselves, you know, they're probably going to end up making a suite of them because you need a suite of them. When was the last time you saw a golfer go out there with one club in there? You know, it doesn't work because that one club doesn't do everything. And it's exactly the same thing with fishing rods.
Right.
And so the example I was making, you know, deep yo-yoing for yellowtail or calico bass.
Two different rods.
Or tuna fish, whatever you're doing, you know, your thresher shark rod, they're all different. So you're probably going to end up making yourself a suite of these things. So then part of the thought process is, what fishing am I going to do first? Which one should I start with?
Yeah.
You know? And what are the seasons? Okay, well, that season is later. I'll leave that one till later. And just make it a thought out project.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, that makes sense. How long for a beginner who's never wrapped a rod? How long before he walks into your booth at the Bart Hall show and he has his first finished product? What would be an estimate as the amount of time that would take?
Are you talking about learning from the Bart Hall show, or there?
Yeah, a guy walks into
Hall
your.
show?
They walk into the Hall show. I've always wanted to do this, but I have no clue. Don't know anything about it. How long from that till the time he can say, maybe it's not the greatest, maybe it's, but it's his first attempt, and he can actually fish with it.
It depends.
He or she, I should say.
It depends. Each person's different.
Yeah,
I've
okay, that's a
learned-
good answer.
I've learned in my classes teaching people that everybody's different. You've got ones that pick it up right away,
Right,
and you got ones that are like, okay, I don't understand this.
like anything, right?
Right,
Pretty
right.
much.
So, I mean, if they were to go to the hall shows, go and watch the seminars and everything, go back, they still got to get their stuff. They're not going to be able to wrap a rod unless they don't have their stuff.
Yeah,
But once they get that, I mean, it just all depends on if they're going to try to do it 5 minutes a day.
Yeah.
Or if they're going to buckle down and try to whip it off in a couple of days or something. And it also depends on what design they want to do.
right.
So, an average, I would say, for somebody's first time rod,
Yeah,
it could probably take them 2 to 3 weeks to build one completely.
that seems fast to me.
However,
That seems fast.
you mentioned, Phil, earlier that someone could easily go spend their whole time at the show at this one booth.
Yeah, right.
Well, someone who's serious about picking up that skill, learning to, and who did that, who spent their day at the show at the booth and listened to those different seminar speakers, each of whom are very skilled people, have slightly different styles, techniques, and knowledge.
Yeah,
Okay, and listened to all of them, and then ordered the products online there. Go home, clear out an area for the the rod building
As
stuff.
long as it doesn't look like my boys'
When-
room.
When that stuff comes a few days later,
yeah,
they could realistically turn out their first rod in a couple of days.
Yeah.
that's amazing to me.
And a couple of days because it includes drying time.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you know.
that's amazing.
So
Yeah.
it just all basically depends on the person.
The person.
Yeah.
It's like I went to China and I taught, and something that I had no anticipation to teach there was Spanish. They wanted to learn Spanish, do a lot of business in Latin American countries, and I would teach those Chinese kids for 1 week, and then I'd meet them on the street, and they're like, "Hola, ¿cómo estás, profesor?" And I'm like, "Whoa, you got really?" I mean, I teach kids back in the States, and wow, and it's like how much time you're going to dedicate.
Right.
Chinese, they've got a parent at home saying, "You're going to learn Spanish, or I'll
Right, right.
kill you," and so they picked it up like that. But they dedicated the time and
Right.
put in. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, if you could be someone that's a slow learner, which I was. Oh boy, you can ask my mentor, Doc Ski. Oh boy.
Doc Ski, how's
he's-
Doc doing?
He's doing good. He's
Good.
up in Washington now, though. so
Doc,
I
hope you're
miss
doing
him.
well, my friend.
I better see you soon.
Yeah, exactly.
No, but like with me, I didn't pick it up right away.
Yeah.
My mind starts going when I'm being taught. So you're showing me this, I'm thinking, can I do this with that? But I'm not paying attention to what you're showing me.
Yeah.
It's just that ADHD. So
Yeah.
somebody who has impairments and stuff can learn how to do this.
Yeah. Yeah. Fantastic.
Doc Ski was a wonderful mentor too.
Yes.
yeah.
Well, I've known Doc for many, many, many years, and he's a great human being.
Oh,
Good
yeah.
guy.
He really is. He saw what Tiffany is doing. He talked to Tiffany, and Doc has a way of reading people deeply.
Yeah.
He's really good at that, and he just flat out told her, "You're going to be my student."
Oh, wow.
Yes, sir. That's what you say to Doc Ski at a moment like that. And he took the time, and they spent a lot of time together. And the things he taught her are amazing. So it's a blessed feeling
Yeah.
to have a mentor like that.
Sure.
One
sure.
thing that he did tell me that he always has been adamant on is no matter how good you are at rod building, no matter what all you know, there is always something to learn.
Sage advice.
And if you stop learning, you better stop building.
Sage advice in whatever endeavor you're in life, right?
It fits in anything, doesn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
Maybe especially fishing.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense because you know the know-it-all guy on the sport boat sometimes gets his clock cleaned by the novice who's listening and soaking it in and taking the advice of the crew member.
You
And
will not outfish the proverbial kid with the bamboo pole.
that is so true, so true. Yeah, so Doc Ski, you had Dad. He grounded you for life, and then Doc Ski made you a student for life. It sounds like,
Yeah,
huh?
yeah. I
And
will
there's
be
other
Doc Ski
there's other
student.
people too. Bill Batson
Oh yeah.
of Batson Enterprises.
Yeah, I know Bill. He's been on this show.
Has been absolutely wonderful with Tiffany.
That's great.
Working closely with her and making sure that she's aware of any new things that they bring on as product lines, so that she knows what the coolest, newest stuff is, and the problems it solves, and how it solves them, and all the technical stuff,
Yeah.
as well as just how it looks and how it feels. And
The Batson family has been a blessing to me. They're a huge part of how we got being able to do the Bart Hall, or it's not Bart Hall anymore. It's
It is Bart.
No,
not
it is
Fred.
Bart Hall.
No, but now they call
It's
it the
Hall
Show.
Yeah.
But
the Hall
I've
Show.
grown up my whole entire
I
life
know.
as Fred Hall
Yes.
Show. So every time I try to talk about it, it's a tongue twister for me.
Yeah, I'm same way.
But Bill and the Batson family, they have put all this stuff together for me to show. It's just unbelievable the support that they've given me on it. I mean, thank you, Bill.
they're good people.
Yeah. Anybody else you want to acknowledge? Your father, for sure. You've already done that.
Nah.
It's all my
Well,
fault.
he'll hit you over the head. You be careful.
Bart has been another big.
Bart Hall.
Yes, he is why I'm here.
Yeah.
He has done a tremendous amount of help through the years, supporting anything I decided to do with rod building, and gave me this huge opportunity to bring other rod builders on board and teach the public how to rod build.
Yeah, I think it's fantastic. And it all starts on Thursday
Yep.
at the Hall Show.
Hall Show.
At the Hall Shows.
Long Beach Convention Center.
Long Beach Convention Center. David, are you going to be there every single day?
I am going to be there every
He
single
lives
day.
there.
He lives there. Oh.
He lives there.
Where are you hiding now? Because I'm over there too sometimes.
Well, you know, when I started doing these shows many years ago, she was the kid when I'm doing seminars under the table eating the package of crap.
Yeah. Like
When
my
the package
kids.
was empty, the audience would see this empty package come out from underneath the table cover, right? And they'd all kind of look at that, you know? Well, I figure it's only fair now that Tiffany has become the big name.
Yes.
I'm thinking about hiding out under the table eating cookies.
Oh,
Do you mind some company? I'm going to chew on a piece of meat because I'm on the carnivore diet, but I'll sit in there and eat something with you.
You know, I think that's the way to end this. That's our end game. That's our perfect end game.
One more time again, the website for everybody out there, if they want to continue on with education, if they can't attend the Hall Show, they want to come visit you. What is that website again?
Go on to vaguerods.net.
vaguerods.net. Do that right now. Check it out. I know you're going to love that. David, anything else?
Yeah, there is another.
Keep
thing.
it going, man.
At the Hall Show.
Yeah.
I'm going to be doing a couple of seminars.
Oh, you are?
One is a seminar that I do just about every year, because there always seems to be some very focused attendees taking copious notes or some kind of notes.
Yeah.
And that is bounce balling for halibut.
Oh, in fact, Bart, we did a podcast with him, and he mentioned that.
Yeah.
Because that is a tricky game, man, and it's a very effective way to take halibut.
Oh, very effective.
Yeah.
And the other seminar I'm going to do is a first-time topic. And I suggested it. Bart loved it. And that is, so, you want to be a charter captain.
Oh, hey, that's a good one.
And I'm going to tell them what they need to know to be a charter captain. I'm going to talk
Are you going to tell them the good, the bad, the ugly?
the good, the bad, the ugly, and the magnificent.
There you go.
Okay?
Yeah.
And there is so much to it. And I won't go all into it now, because you need to come see the seminar to get
That's
the full
a
effect.
great seminar.
But not only the parts about what it takes to get a captain's license. Because, we don't get these licenses out of a box of Cracker Jacks. You got to earn these things. And so, not only that, and what kind of boat to consider, and how to work with people, what kind of gear you need, and knowledge you need, and all of that, that's all important. But just because you're a pretty good fishing captain does not mean you're necessarily a good business person.
That's true.
And guess what? You're in a business.
Yes.
And so I am going to talk also about the importance of a marketing partner in the modern ways of marketing, and the importance of a web developer, like the one we have used as we've been doing this. Zoe Soppeland is the name. And I'm going to talk about the importance of that, and she's even going to give us some cards to hand out in case people want help with that sort of stuff. But all of that kind of knowledge and what it really takes to be a charter captain.
That is great. And the fact that you're going to concentrate on the business end of it is so important. I know with sport fishing captains, you'll find it's hard when you find this person, you found the right guy, who's a really great fisherman, who's really great at business, and he's good down there in the engine room, man, you've hit a home run. But you've got to have all three of those to really excel in the business. And it sounds like you're going to address all of those. And I don't know which one. I would say the least important, I may be wrong here, would be finding the fish. I would say the marketing and taking care of the engine, although to the guy on deck, finding the fish is way more important. You got to have all three of those.
Yeah.
They're all important. But from a business perspective, if you're not maintaining your engine and you're blowing an engine, or you're having downtime due to mechanical failure that could be prevented, and if you don't have the business running properly and you're not making a profit out of the business, then it's not going to work. And man, that's a great seminar, David. I like that. I might even go sit in on that with my prime rib.
You know the way I think I might finish that seminar
How's that?
is with a quote from a rather famous author, Henry David Thoreau, who once wrote, "Some people fish all their lives without realizing it's not fish they're after."
That's so true. That is so true.
Those are words.
Yes, I've said that all along. I mean, because some people try to minimalize fishing, like, I don't get it. A dumb piece of bait and you catch a fish. What? They're missing the point of the adventure, of the mental break you get from it, of the part of your very being that pursuing the prey kind of thing.
Oh yeah,
all of that
inside,
stuff.
we are back to, we got to go out there and catch our food.
Yeah, and
We
hey,
need that. That's who we are. That's how we
right.
got here.
That's right. Millions and millions and millions of years of evolution, right? Coursing through our veins. As fishermen, I'm getting a little carried away here.
No,
What's coursing through your veins?
I dried up salt. I need to get out
That
there.
pretty much got salt water in my veins.
Yeah, see, it's like
I love it. Anything else?
one word advice to people.
Please.
That Doc Ski's always told me is when you're rod building, it's not about perfection. It's about progress.
Yes.
You always need to be progressing. Don't worry about perfection. It's never going to be perfect. Work on the progress.
I'll tell you, Doc Ski, man, we're gonna have to,
He's a
start
genius.
putting quotes up because that's true too. There's a saying in this business: better done than good. You gotta get your podcast. I mean, there's many times when I do a voiceover, and I do a lot every single day, and when I listen to it, I'll go, that is not far from perfect, but you know what? Moving on here, man, because I got another one to do here. Unless it's complete garbage, and I'm coughing during it or I've just completely screwed it up. But as long as I put a foot forward, it's better than the last one.
Mm-hmm.
And, you
Exactly.
keep evolving and evolving. Same thing.
Yep.
Great stuff. Doc Ski. Henry David Thoreau. I had no idea we'd be quoting such lofty people in today's podcast. My
You know,
goodness.
Sometimes these podcasts could just kind of get away from
I'm
you.
telling you, man. Wow. I never, I had no idea. This is a great podcast. They're really, really good stuff.
Can I finish? With
You
a
can do
very
anything you
personal
want.
story?
Please.
Okay. If you look, you can notice I have a missing tooth. Right
Let's see.
there.
I don't notice
See
that.
that?
Oh, yeah.
See that? Okay.
Hockey player, huh?
No,
I didn't do it.
I could fix the tooth, of course.
Yeah.
But I never will,
Character.
because then I would lose the story.
Oh. What is the story? Hey, it's like the Paul Harvey thing. And now, the rest of the story. I don't know if you guys remember that, but
I do.
oh, there you are.
We're both 200 or 300 years old. Here.
Yeah,
We got
exactly.
this, right?
Exactly.
Oh, geez, that makes
Another
me
guy we
wonder.
quoted, Paul Harvey now.
Well, it was a very large thresher shark.
Oh, gosh.
Now, usually the really big ones end up getting let go because I ask people, you can keep theirs, they're delicious, but how big is your freezer?
Yeah, yeah, right.
This was a pretty big one, and it was a group, and they were going to an event, and yes, they wanted to keep. So we brought it aboard. Now, what you have to know about Tiffany is that her favorite thing to do in this world is wrestle sharks. Whenever we brought a shark aboard, she would just pounce on them.
That's awesome.
Get them in something like a half Nelson. Grind them to the deck. She'd talk to them. It sounded kind of like a linebacker talking to the guy with the football, And this particular one was very big, and she was doing that. But there were some issues. There were some dangers going on here. So she was on the business end. I pounced on the other end. Well, in the case of a thresher shark, they got two business ends.
Yeah, they do.
That long scimitar-shaped tail that's as long as the body
Yes.
is their weapon.
Oh, yeah.
And as I went for that shark, it came up with that tail, smashed me in the face, knocked me across the deck, and I won't ever replace that tooth.
I love it. I wouldn't either. That's awesome.
What we are is our stories.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. That's a great one.
So I wear mine.
That is such a great one. I love it, David. That's a great story. I've been whipped in the face by those thresher sharks, so I know what you're talking about. But, man, that one knocked you on the deck. You lost a tooth. And the fact that you didn't replace it, man, your esteem has just gone through the roof with me now. I love it. No vanity here.
A story is better than a tooth any day.
And you know that whipping sound that you hear?
Yeah, oh,
That
yeah.
all right there, too.
Yeah, oh,
It
yeah.
happens.
What made you want to jump on every shark? I hope you weren't doing that with Mako sharks, too.
Everything.
Oh, my God, really?
The
Oh.
adrenaline.
Uh-huh.
I'm an adrenaline junkie.
Yeah, I can relate to that a little bit. Some things, like going to a foreign land and walking out into, like, areas that are foreign to me, for lack of a better word, I like that feeling, like, just
Yeah.
kind of trying to figure it out, like,
Yeah.
is this safe? Is this not safe? In that evolution we talked about, you know instantly when you're walking around somewhere. Like in China, I could walk, which I didn't do very much because I go to bed early. But if I were ever out late at night, I got to the point where if I heard footsteps behind me in China, I never turned around, never cared, never, because it was so safe. It's a communist country, man. You do something off that you're not supposed to do, and you're in the gulag. I went to the Philippines, which I absolutely love, and met wonderful people there, but it was a little different. I walked out, getting off the plane into a park, and there's a bunch of drunk guys over here. There's some girls over here doing stuff and I immediately said, gotta have eyes in the back of my head now. So I know exactly, you're just, God, or whatever you want to say, has given you these evolutionary kind of guardrails that keep you safe if you listen to your gut.
We got to listen to ourselves.
Yes.
Deep inside.
Yep, 100%. Anything else, kids?
We're good.
You guys, that has to be one of the best podcasts, quoting all these lofty figures. Hey, do me a favor. Go to the hall shows and visit these two. Ask David to show you his tooth, or where his tooth is not at. And Dan Lightfoot, I don't know if you saw that guy that was in here.
I did.
Dan Lightfoot, There he is. Dan, come over here next to David. I think we should have a mustache competition between you two.
But he just cut his.
Yeah, I know. Well, I mean, it could be. Dan, look out there. Look at it. You can leave a comment down below. Do you like Dan Lightfoot's mustache or the more groomed version with David Bacon? I think that would be great. Hey, thanks, everybody. Thank you, guys. That was awesome.
You're welcome.
Fantastic.